Hello, Burnsville High School. This is another engaging video on American history. And this is going to be actually on the main causes of World War I. And this is one of my favorite things to talk about because I think it's really quite brilliant. And I did steal this from online somewhere. It wasn't my own thought. If you hear a jingle bell in the background, that's Boo running around. Anyways, the main causes of World War I. So one of the things that is happening in this time period is that there's a lot of changes going on a global scale, and people are wanting to be involved in these different changes, and it causes conflict and problems, which is what ultimately thrusts us into World War I. So, seeds of the war, and what I mean by a seed is something that's planted and long term. So if you plant a seed for, a rose plant, it's not going to grow overnight, right? You have a seed, and it's going to take a little time and energy and fertilizer to get it going. So seeds are over time. So the seeds of the war, militarism is the first one. And militarism includes an arms race and mobilization. So an arms race is not a race that happens on your arms. It's the gathering of weapons or the gathering of arms, and then subsequently the mobilization of your army. So those two things together, gathering weapons, gathering soldiers, to eventually prepare for wartime engagement. So militarism is happening across the world, and people are engaging in preparing for potential conflicts. The second one, entangling alliances. To entangle something means to get it kind of confused and complicated. And an alliance is, you think of alliances on Survivor or what have you, but an alliance is people coming together and forming some sort of a bond. So we start off with the Triple Alliance, which is Austria-Hungary, Germany, and Italy. And the Triple Entente, which is Great Britain, Russia, and France. Okay, so that's how we start. And then we change over time eventually. This is a graphic that I got online. The blue is the Triple Alliance. The red is the Triple Entente. So you can see the different sides there. And then we have a little bit of confusion that's happening there in terms of the Balkans. Bulgaria and Serbia are kind of confused in the mix. But at any rate, we have two different sides that are going forward in terms of preparation for war. Our Triple Alliance, that is Austria-Hungary, Germany, and Italy, becomes the Central Powers, which is Austria-Hungary, Germany, and the Ottoman Empire, plus Bulgaria. Thank God we got the Bulgarians in there, because they were huge contributors in World War I. I shouldn't say that. They were. And then our Triple Entente, Great Britain, Russia, and France, changes to the Allied Powers, which is Great Britain, Russia, until 1917, France, Italy, Greece, Serbia, and us in 1917. So, can you remember what happens in Russia in 1917? Yes, I know I'm asking you a question from a computer, but you should think about what's going on in Russia in 1917. Yes, that's correct. The Russian Revolution. Tsar Nicholas is overthrown. And so the Russians pull out of World War I to deal with their own civil war. They would rather get their own ducks in a row rather than worry about what's going on in the world scene. And we join in 1917, not directly as a result of Russia pulling out, but that's just kind of how things played out on the political scene in the United States. So we join in 1917, and it really is as a result of our intervention that we end up being successful in the war, which we'll talk about later. So here are the Central Powers. The yellow, so Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy that you can't see there. I think it's fascinating that Luxembourg remains neutral and Switzerland. Like, really? How is that possible? Bless the Swiss. At any rate, and here is the Allied Powers, the red ones. So Russia, France, Belgium, Great Britain, those types of things. Again, we have our neutral countries kind of right in between there. Luxembourg is beautiful. I mean, I'm not trying to diss them. It was pretty. But at any rate, there's a map to kind of give you the idea of where we're going. Again, the green here are the Allied powers. The red are the Central Powers. And then, of course, our yellows are neutral. Okay, so militarism, alliances. third one we have here, imperialism, which we talked about last week. And it's basically a competition among major, mostly European countries for a race for colonies and to get new land. So, for example, the Germans threatened to take Morocco from France, and the British and the Russians fought over Asia. So people are trying to compete to get already colonized areas, not to mention the people who lived there initially. So the indigenous people are being overlooked for the convenience of other countries that are trying to come and take them over. And then the last seeds of the war, nationalism. So we have militarism, alliances, imperialism, nationalism. And nationalism is the idea that you have extreme pride in your country. Can you think of an example of an extreme nationalist? Yes, Hitler is one of them. Good. So, as a result of nationalism and people saying, hey, I want to take pride in my own country, I want to keep our own independence, I don't want all these countries taking over, people are looking to get more national power and independence from countries that are being overthrown. New countries that are developing as the result of civil wars, and old countries who are being taken over are trying to be more aggressive and say, hey, this is really our country, we don't want you here. So again, the main causes of World War I, we have 4 seeds of World War I. Militarism, alliances, imperialism, and wait for it, nationalism. Yeah, main causes. Are you just dancing in your seat right now? Because this is so exciting to me. I love this. I know, this just happened. The main causes. You'll never forget them. Militarism, alliances, imperialism, nationalism. And these are examples of how each of these was played out. Militarism in the bottom center there. Alliances, imperialism on the right, and nationalism on the top. And that, my friends, is our intro to the causes of World War I.